If you haven't seen the previous video in this series, follow the link on your screen or click the link in the description or pinned comment below. So you decided to sin coming to America, eh?
You screwed up.
Look, I get it. You want to capitalize on the fact there's a sequel to this movie. But considering how hard you failed on Friday, you really want to touch another black classic?
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Wow, look at this totally real place that exists.
Oh no! A fictional movie where fictional things happen has fictional places in it. Wait until you see the fake McDonald's in this movie. I'm sure you'll have an aneurysm.
Also, while these are some nice and very relaxing opening credits, they have no business lasting for over 2.5 minutes. At some point, relaxing turns into falling asleep, and your damn movie hasn't even started yet.
Just like in the Back to the Future 3 video, CinemaSins is bitching about opening credits yet again, which is something they didn't do for movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Nobody is upset that they're showing names on the screen for a few minutes, my dude, so this is one of them sins that means nothing to anyone and is here to pad the runtime of this video. Shit, man, I know we've been asking you to do something new, but this ain't what we meant.
Sure, it's insane that this castle bedroom was built with an observatory over the prince's bed, but what I'm really weirded out about is how Akeem slept through the night without messing up any of the sheets or covers. The bed already looks made for the day.
So the sin here is that Akeem isn't a messy sleeper. Okay then.
Good morning, Your Highness.
Coming to America is about a prince who wants to find true love with someone who doesn't know that he's a prince. But I gotta tell you, he's bypassing some absolute talent in the first 5 minutes of this movie. If this were me, movie over.
Okay, but if you understand his goal is to find a wife that isn't about the glitz and glamour, what the hell are you talking about? This movie isn't about Jeremy of CinemaSins, it's about Akeem of Zamunda. Garcelle Beauvais is fire, but Akeem is looking for someone that loves him on the inside. Not every dude is looking for an Aisha Curry. You know, an ungrateful motherfucker that literally has everything but is still seeking attention from the internet.
The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
What's even more impressive is that her makeup is still fully intact after being underwater washing for the last several seconds.
Ignoring the fact that water-resistant makeup has been a thing since forever, sinning the royal penis scene. That's worth these many sins.
People who have extreme wealth and or are the Grinch have an unnecessarily super long table cliche.
Of course, only about 3% of your brain actually works when you watch movies, so you miss the obvious. Rich people have a lot of friends. And yes, friends is in quotations. The point is, the super wealthy tend to have extravagant parties and dinners, so they need to fit everyone. Also, this is a comedy movie, and you're watching a montage of how pampered Akeem is. This is literally setting up the premise of the movie, which is Akeem wants to live a normal lifestyle. But of course, you're CinemaSins. The only person worse than you at analyzing things on YouTube is this guy.
Racism has never been a problem in this country at all. I was raised on a plantation there. Under the Jim Crow laws. There's no such thing as racism.
I was raised on a plantation there under the Jim Crow laws.
You've grown a mustache.
Joffy, it has been a year.
A year where they've sat together at this table every morning. You can have an inattentive father, but at least come up with a scenario that makes sense.
Did you forget your own previous sin? The entire joke is that Akeem sits so far away from his father and mother at the table, they didn't realize he has grown a mustache. They were literally using a communication box in order to talk to each other at the table.
Now let's see if you can defend yourself, you sweat from a baboon's balls.
I feel like there should be a Bechdel-type test for 80s movies where the film only passes if you have two males that at no point perform some form of martial arts on each other. I'm pretty sure only Follow That Bird would be victorious.
Jeremy hates men? Also, the Bechdel test and everyone that subscribes to the notion that it has any worth. That's how you ruin classics. Like Charlie's Angels.
Only dogs are to obey. If you truly love your wife, you will value her opinion.
100%, but this is a man who has never tied his own shoe or wiped his own ass before. Where would Akeem even pick up this fountain of truth?
As revealed later in the movie, Akeem is shown to be very worldly, even quoting Friedrich Nietzsche. That is to say, he may not tie his own shoes, but he isn't ignorant of the way things work outside of Zamunda and reads extensively. Unless, of course, you're one of those people that think Africans are poor hillbillies that don't know anything outside of their own countries. like American.
Whatever Arsenio is saying to Eddie Murphy here is a lost in translation moment, and I must know now what he said to him.
Everything wrong with Coming to America, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know what they said.
This dance number to introduce Miss Imani Easy goes on for some time.
You seem to be suggesting that this isn't exactly the point. The Next Dorians have a thing for flair, and again, you're watching a comedy movie.
Completely free from infection.
That's a funny lyric to this song, but if this kingdom follows strict rules of order and upholds standards of tradition, what kind of f***ing line is that?
Wait, what? You think because they are traditional, they wouldn't be wary of AIDS? The fuck kind of logic is that?
May I talk to you alone for a moment, please?
This is the kingdom where the prince isn't even allowed to wipe his own backside. Why would he be able to do something that everyone in this castle thinks is outlandish without even as much as a peep from his dad?
Couple things here. Firstly, you're making shit up. Nobody thinks him speaking privately to Imani is outlandish. Second, this is his bride-to-be, and I'm fairly certain the subjects of Zamunda don't need to be in the room with a prince and his wife. Lastly, his father does interrupt him. You know, the scene where she's hopping on one foot and barking like a dog?
What kind of music do you like?
Whatever kind of music you like.
Akeem judges his queen to be based on this exchange. No matter what he asks, she says that she likes what he likes. But was his mother the same way before she married his father? Because the queen seems to have her own opinions and speaks freely in front of the king. The point is, she can't really judge under the circumstances, where everyone is expected to be a certain way due to the ceremony.
Imani isn't Zamundian. She is from Nextdoria. The Nextdorians, as revealed in the sequel, intend for their nations to join together through marriage. To that end, Imani was essentially bred for this purpose. We don't know this to be the case with Aolian, even though her marriage was assigned as well. Even with all that said, it's clear Akeem is looking for someone that he immediately clicks with, not someone that has to grow into her own person over the span of a marriage.
Bark like a dog.
This movie has at no point shown itself to be self-referential in any way, so why is this fourth wall breaking?
Except this is the point where the movie is showing itself to be self-referential. What the hell do you want them to do? Open the movie with, "We're going to be breaking the fourth wall occasionally, thanks."
Fulfill every erotic desire, and in 40 days, you will come back and marry Imani.
Arbitrary erotic desire deadline is arbitrary.
Again, you're missing a gag in a comedy movie. The point is that Zamundian royalty go on 40-day pussy binges. I want to be Zamundian.
The land is so big. The choice is so infinite. Where shall we go? Los Angeles or New York?
We will let fate decide.
Sounds like you're giving fate only two choices.
And let me stop you right there, because you are, yet again, missing the gag. Jesus, do I have to explain the joke? Whenever people from other countries think of visiting America, it's usually a choice between LA or New York City. Hello? This is what happens when someone who is pretending to be comedy comes up against actual comedy.
But where in New York can one find a woman with grace, elegance, taste, and culture? A woman suitable for a king?
Queens.
Hardy har. Are you seriously not going to research Queens before you go there? You're just going to judge it by its name? Did you notice there was a place called Flushing in Queens? Sure, it has nothing to do with toilets, but this is the kind of logic you're using.
Take us to Queens at once.
You're at the airport. You're in Queens. But the taxi driver, who should know better, doesn't even bother to ask for a more specific destination.
There are 3 major airports in the New York City metro: LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark. The first 2 are in Queens, but Newark is in Newark, New Jersey. Considering the movie shows them driving to Queens, the airport they're at is most likely Newark. Now, we know the actual filming location was JFK, but in universe, this doesn't have to be the case. I mean, do you really think Guardians of the Galaxy was filmed in a giant's head in space?
Aha! Aha!
What part of Queens you want?
Only now, after driving for some time, does he ask where they want to go.
And this would be a legitimate CinemaSin if you didn't previously lie about the driver never asking which part of Queens they wanted to go.
Oops, looks like the cab driver took them to Brooklyn, and pretty much nowhere near Queens.
Impressive. You managed to figure out that this movie was actually filmed in Brooklyn. It's also impressive that you figured that out, but didn't realize Williamsburg, Brooklyn is literally next door to Queens. So yeah, it pretty much is near Queens.
Don't mind me, I'm just looking around for the final scene to The Departed.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the movie cliche.
Even Coming to America isn't immune from the montage of unacceptable partners cliche. I mean, are these women all lined up ready to sit down in this same booth so they can conduct tryouts?
No, they aren't. This is why they show Akeem and Semi wearing different clothing. They're showing you a montage of them meeting women over a few days.
Also, not only are these women unacceptable, but they're unacceptable in a way that's just insane. And I get it, it's a comedy, so everybody has to have an exaggerated unacceptableness.
Jeremy thinks people from New York City aren't insane. Bruh, have you been to New York City?
Turn around, ladies, for me, please. You know there's a God who sits on high and looks down low.
I do recall all of those Sunday school lessons about the God of Ass. That seemed to be the story my teacher Anthony L. Ray liked to talk about the most.
Jeremy makes a
"Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt.
I like big butts and I cannot lie."
pop culture reference that isn't a sin in the movie cliche.
And welcome him to the stage. Big round of applause for Jackson Heights' own Mr. Randy Watson. Yes!
I get that the sexual chocolate sequence is a highlight for many, and rightfully so, but it also has to do with the rest of the film and kind of stalls all the momentum.
Jeremy is talking out of both sides of his mouth, ex machina.
She is wonderful.
Yeah, because out of all the women you've met in this movie, she's an actual human being and not a one-note comical character.
Yes, which is precisely the point of the entire film. Welcome to 1988.
We're going to joke about it frequently in this movie, but come on. McDonald's would sue the out of you for this restaurant. Even if you could successfully win in court, they'd make you go bankrupt in litigation. And the fact that in real life, McDonald's corporate okayed this but didn't tell an actual local McDonald's manager and it led to a threatened litigation only proves my point.
I'm curious, what was the point of this whole soliloquy? To tell us something in a fictional movie wouldn't happen in real life? Thanks for that, Lacey from Pootie Tang.
Oh man, Pootie Tang whip your ass so bad that you can write it off on your taxes. That's right.
You know, I like to also add that Pootie Tang can kick some ass too, boy.
Dad isn't using the company tickets to the Jets game, and I thought you might enjoy them.
Being excited about a Jets game.
Agreed.
Here, rich guys get all the chicks.
Normally I wouldn't say anything about it, but you look like the kind of guy that might be interested to see a woman, who I have no idea is your love interest, making out with her boyfriend right now.
In case you didn't understand, Jeremy is saying that Louis shouldn't have known that Akeem is interested in Lisa. Besides the fact that Akeem has probably made it clear to his coworkers that he's in love with her, it's apparent Jeremy is oblivious to social cues. I mean, he's literally always attempting to speak to her and watches her from afar. Hell, back in college, there was a woman I loved to look at so much, I decided to wear shades indoors just so I can look at her without anyone noticing. It'd be like that sometimes.
Yes! Yes!
This whole time Patrice has been whacking him off under that jacket, but it looks like she's perfected the over-the-clothes version of it and got him off in under 1 minute. And all I have to say is, where's my Patrice?
Have you tried OnlyFans? I heard the ones with low followers will do something strange for a little piece of change.
He has accepted us as equals.
Okay, fellas, just give him a ticket, take the keys, park the cars down the street.
Valet for a house party where you just park your cars down the street? My guess is you didn't need valets, you just needed a punchline for a joke.
Welcome to comedy. We have been waiting for you. And your ridiculous-ass fanboys. We still got room on the Birdman bandwagon, you trout-mouth motherfuckers.
You know something, Akeem? When I was growing up, 9 of us lived in a shack no bigger than this room.
But we still thought of those as good times.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference.
Silver glowing the host's couch.
This is called Jerry Curl juice. This was the exact reason our grandmothers had plastic on the sofas.
Here, wear this red jacket. We'll express to the audience that we're equals through a color-coded wardrobe.
I'll take shit the movie was never trying to say for 100, Alex.
Randolph, leave me alone, Mortimer.
Oh, that's fun. That's the Duke brothers from Trading Places. Ooh, I wonder if somewhere later John Landis will reference his other 1983 film, Twilight Zone the movie.
Hilarious, coming from the guy that literally fills 30% of his videos with pop culture references. I swear, CinemaSins is guilty of so much shit they complain about, they'd be excellent at The Birdman.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's have lunch.
So do they think this is Billy Ray Valentine or someone who looks exactly like him? Or are they just not going to acknowledge that shit at all?
Jeremy is a white person from Tennessee. My point is, he's pretending he's never heard all black people look alike, and if I got my Bible correct, lying is a sin.
Also, how would they even know Akeem was the one who gave them the money or where he went afterwards? Mortimer was half asleep when he set the McDowell bag on his lap.
Says he wouldn't know Akeem gave him the money, shows a scene of Mortimer looking Akeem square in the face. CinemaSins. These niggas be capping.
Look, I totally think Patrice is the type of gal who would break into Akeem and Semi's apartment, but f***ing why? It's not like she suspected anything. Why would you go to this rundown place, knock on the door, and then break in when they don't answer?
Maybe because Akeem has been standing her up and she came here looking for him? I mean, she tiddlied his wink at a basketball game. Usually you pay double for something like that.
The Lion King.
Sinning James Earl Jones, The Lion King, and the fact that this movie predicted he would be the Lion King. That's worth these many sins.
Leave us.
King or no king, what f***ing father is leaving his daughter in a room alone with a strange man? I don't care if she is an adult.
This has happened so much, I should probably make this a cliche. Jeremy is a helicopter parent.
Stop! Lisa! Lisa!
Jeez, how the f*** did you find her so fast? And how did you know that was her?
Look, for the sake of brevity, I'm going to ignore the fact that this movie doesn't even suggest he found her fast, but how did he know that was her? Dude, she is literally wearing the same jacket she was wearing on their date. Come on, son.
I do not care about my crown. All I care about is you.
In the end, Akeem is kind of selfish. The woman that was supposed to marry Akeem gave up her entire life to be his bride. What did her family have to give up to do that? If Jaffe goes back and says, never mind, we're going to let Akeem marry Lisa instead, would there be no consequences? I seriously doubt it.
Jeremy is privy to the information that the sequel addresses this because he's already seen this movie and knows Akeem doesn't face repercussions in this movie, but I won't even take it that far. This logic is troubling for a variety of reasons, the biggest being that they think Imani deserves to be Akeem's wife simply because she prepared herself for it. Flip the genders and say the same thing. I guarantee you would not be suggesting a woman is selfish for turning down a man she had no interest in, no matter how much he prepared for it. She isn't owed anything.
Go on, honey. Take a chance.
Taking advice from strangers on the subway.
I agree. That would be a sin if she actually took the advice. Newsflash, she doesn't.
Wait, what? You're telling me Lisa agreed to marry Akeem without actually talking to him, and then agreed to let him be in pain and misery over the next several days until this moment? I think I hate Lisa more than Akeem right now. What the f***? Didn't they go on like one date? I'm not terribly surprised Akeem would want to go through with this, but I am super surprised Lisa does. She went from I love Akeem, but he lied to me, to let's get married in no time.
Are you missing the fact that Akeem is not only a really great guy, but also a super rich prince? If you aren't trying to marry someone like that, what the hell are you even looking for?
This f***ing guy.
Ah, I see.
Brown skin, I be standing 5'10", I be rocking it when I be in your vicinity. Raw style synergy, recognize symmetry. Come try to injure me, broke them down chemically. Ain't the number 10 MC, talking about how I be. Styled it like Kennedy, late like a 10 to 3. When I say when I be, girls say when I key, cause this still 10 to be. Working way out like Tennessee, take me to a place called the BK.